Convert percents and fractions. When converting a fraction to a percent, we will first divide. The fraction, and then we will move the decimal to the right twice. As that means that we are multiplying by it by 100. So to convert a percent to a fraction, we put the percent over 100, and then we can reduce the fraction. So let's look at an example. In a given state emission inspection program, gas engine's failure rate is 22%. Example 1. In a given state emission inspection program, gas engine's failure rate is 22%. What is this percent represented as a fraction? So for this, we're going to be using this method as we're going from a percent to a fraction. So our first thing to do is to put 22% then over 100. So step 1. Then we can reduce the fraction. So we see that 22 and 100 are both even numbers. So we'll just divide by 2 on both on top and the bottom, as that's a common factor we can cross out. So we get 22 divided by 2, which is then 11, and then 100 divided by 2 is 50. So this would be our percent represented as a fraction. Now let's go look at another example. Example 2. In a different state, gas engine's failure rate is about 17 out of 100 vehicles. What is this fraction represented as a percent? So step 1 is to take our fraction and divide. So what this bar right here represents is division. So what we would do is we would take the 17 and then divide it by 100, and we're left with 0.17. Now step 2 is to move the decimal over twice to the right. So we'd go 1, 2. So our final answer is 17, and this is percent, and that would be our final answer. So let's do one final example. Example 3. In a different state, gas engine's failure rate is 7.5%. What is this percent represented as a fraction? So we take the 7.5%, and what we first do is put it over 100. And then, so this is step 1. Step 2 is to reduce if possible. So we see that 7.5 and 100. So we see that 7.5 over 100 is in reduced form. So we would just put 7.5 over 100, and this would be our fraction.